broke above the 60, and that's where it started to push the 120 Thai baht. So upside targets can be revised. Do you know that you can actually take a position in some of the top Thailand stocks, just like any other normal Singapore stocks that are listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange, right? How do you do that? Well, you can take a position or trade this thing called the Thai SDR, Singapore Depository Receipts, right? And as of today, right, there are a total of eight Thailand stocks that are already tradable under the Thai SDR on the Singapore Stock Exchange. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the top three, right? The top three that you can position yourselves for potentially more upside. So watch this video all the way to the end if you want to know what are the three Thailand stocks that you can buy just like any other normal Singapore stocks, and more importantly, how do you do it with what we call the Thai SDR. Let's go. So the first Thailand stock I'll share with you will be this company called Gulf Energy, right? The code is GULF. This is the underlying that's listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. But as I mentioned, you can actually buy what we call the SDR. I'll come to that in a bit, right? But let's take a look at what is Gulf actually doing right now. You can see that we are trading at about 70.25 Thai baht. All right, so let me just talk about what has happened over the past few months. So I've covered this company, all right. I would say last month in the video, you can see that we have turned into a pretty strong uptrend because we have broken this very key resistance, about the 55 to 56 resistance that we have been trading below for about 2 years. So we broke this 55 to 56 like Thai baht right over here somewhere in September last month, and that was where some upside targets were drawn, right? So you can see right now that it looks pretty good. We actually have been like consolidating and then pushing higher. So you can see right over here in August we consolidated for like 2 to 3 weeks, pump, consolidated, pump, consolidated, pump, right? So it's a pretty good healthy uptrend, I would say, because before it moves higher, it actually staged what we call a sideways consolidation for like about 3 weeks to a month, and then it attempts to break that resistance to push even higher. And right now you can see that over the past 1 week, right, over the past 1 to 2 weeks, in fact, we actually broken this 60 Thai baht level that we will be trading below since like September. For more than a month, we're below 60, and you see we broke above the 60, and that's where it started to push up, right? About 5-6 days of it moving up, and we have hit our target at about the 70 Thai baht. So right now we are right at the 70 Thai baht level. So it looks like a pretty good uptrend, all right? It's intact, all right? And the 20 days moving average line, you can see it has sloped up from like August all the way to now. It's still a pretty good uptrend in the short term, and in the longer term, right, the trend has actually turned up, I would say, since August and September, whereby we saw the 100 days moving average line, all right, crossing back up the rate above the blue line. Both of them are starting to point up, so I think it looks pretty bullish. Anything above that 60 Thai baht level, all right, or maybe even 65. It seems like 65 would be a little bit of a support level right now. So anything above 60 to 65, I think that's where some bargain hunting can come back again, and the uptrend looks pretty intact, right? So how then can we potentially take a position on this stock? Well, we can take a look at this stock in terms of taking a position near what we call the support level. So if you're to dip to maybe near this 60 to 65, so right over here, if you dip to maybe 60 to 65, that's potentially the upside targets. But I think right now maybe 65 would be a better bet. I think 65 is potentially where some bargain hunting might come back again. 60 might be a little bit too low, all right? So we can actually take a position in what we call the SDR, the Singapore Depository Receipts, the Thai SDR, all right? And how do we do that? Well, before we do that, we want to take a look at a quick conversion from like Thai baht to Singapore dollars. So you can see I've placed the figures right over here. So for example, we have like 70 Thai baht as the resistance. So 70 Thai baht, if you want to convert to Singapore dollars, well, very simple. You just need to times, right, or multiply by 0.04. So if you take like 70 times 0.04, you get $2.80. Same thing, right? 65 Thai baht over here, which would be the support. 65 times 0.04, that would be like about $2.60. So if you want to buy what we call the Thai SDR, it is tradable in Singapore dollars currency, just like any other normal Singapore stocks. You can take a position if it were to dip maybe to near that 260 or maybe to 240 kind of like support level. So let's take a look at what we call the SDR right now and share with you guys the quote as to how you can buy the Gulf Energy Thai SDR. So this is my watch list of Thai SDR stocks and their underlying. So you can see that right over here we have Gulf Energy, right, the one that's listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. The code is GULF. It's about 69.75 Thai baht. So as I mentioned, right, you don't have to buy the one that's listed on Stock Exchange of Thailand and incur like foreign currency transaction costs and all that. You can actually buy what we call the Thai SDR. And if you just look down by one row, you can see this is the SDR, right? GULF space TH stands for Thai space SDR, which means Singapore Depository Receipts, right? So right over here, you can see the code is TGED right over here, and the price is about $2.75, which is Singapore dollars. You can buy this as like any other normal Singapore stocks. And I mentioned right over here, if let's say the price were to dip around, maybe we see a bit of profit taking, it might pull back a little bit towards this 65 Thai baht, which should be about $2.60 Sing. All right, so right now you can see the price is about $2.75. So we did it to like maybe 265, 260 plus is near the support level. That's potentially where an entry could be taken to ride a potential reversal. Okay, let's move on to the second Thailand stock I'd like to share with you today, and that would be Advanced Info Service, right? The code is ADVANC, the one that's listed on the SET, all right? And what is Advanced Info Service doing? Well, this is the largest telco that is in Thailand, all right? And it is trading at about 287 Thai baht. So a pretty good stock in the uptrend, I would say, since like 2-3 months back. We have broken some really key support levels like the 230, 220 right over here, and upside targets were drawn. I did a video on it like 1-2 months back as well. So it was drawn, hit our targets and pushed even higher, and right now it seems like we have found a higher support level. And you can see, right, in terms of the longer term trend, same thing, we look at what we call the 100 days moving average and the 200 days moving average. So longer term trend has been, I would say, just started after breaking the 230 level somewhere in August. That's a good sign of it starting to push up. And the short term trend, as represented by the 20 days moving average, the green line, you can see, right? It is sloping up right now. It is still sloping up as well. In fact, we have broken this like 270 resistance, and now it's pushed even higher. All right, so what could be a potential entry just by looking at this underlying stock? Well, I would say that we may see a bit of a support coming in right over here, maybe around the 270. So 270 would be the Thai baht support. So 270 times 0.04, that would be like about $10.80. So for this Advanced Info Service, all right, we need to just divide it by 10 to get the Singapore dollars price for the SDR. Why? Because basically for Advanced Info Service, right, there's a ratio of like 10 SDR to one underlying stock. So we just need to times 0.04 and then we divide it by 10 to get the Singapore dollar price for the SDR. So that would be like $1.08 for the resistance at about 300. So 300 times 0.04 divided by 10, that would be like $1.20. So I think if you were to dip to where the 270 support is, look at this, right? Resistance, we came down, all right, a bit of selling as well. Selling finally just last week we broke above, right, the 270, which would now be a new support level. And also that's where the 20 days, look at this green line as I mentioned, right? This green line sloping up. It is right over here as well. So I think anything above this 270 Thai baht, we could see some bargain hunting coming back. We might see a rebound all the way to 300 Thai baht. So just based on this 270 to 300 Thai baht, if you convert it to Singapore dollars, it's like $1.08. Resistance will be $1.20. So let's take a look at the SDR right now. Okay, so here is Advanced Info Service. Look at the code ADVANC. It's about 283 Thai baht. All right, and this is the one that's listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Right, look one row down, and you can find what we call the SDR, which is AIS, which is Advanced Info Service space TH space SDR. The code for the Singapore SDR right over here. I mean the Thai SDR listed on the Singapore Exchange. Right, it is TADD, and the Singapore dollar price is $1.13, 1.13, as you can see right over here, right? So remember, we converted it to like Singapore dollars, and that would be like the support at 1.08 all the way to like 120, and that's where some profit taking can come back. So you can see right now the price is about $1.13. So if you were to dip to near 108, whether like 110 or 109 or 108 around there, that could be a potential entry, all right, to ride it all the way to the $1.20 target, or like a resistance whereby some profit taking can come back again. But overall, as I mentioned, right, it looks like a pretty good uptrending stock, right? It has been like consolidating, pushing higher, and I like it because over the past week we have actually broke this 270 and pushing higher. So we might just consolidate below 300 for a couple of weeks, and if we break the 300 Thai baht resistance level, well, targets could be revised maybe all the way to like 320 or 330. So you can do a bit of a currency conversion as well. We break 300, it goes to like 330 you times 0.04, you divide by 10, and that's where you could get the Singapore dollar price for the Thai SDR. Okay, I want to share with you guys the final and the third Thailand stock that you definitely want to put in your watch list for more upside, and this is what we call Delta Electronics, the underlying stock listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. The code is Delta, DELTA, trading at about 130.5 Thai baht. So why do I like these stocks? Well, there are signs of the uptrend forming, I would say, since about 2 months back. In terms of the longer term trend, you can see 100 days moving average has broken up across above the blue line, the 200 days moving average. Same thing like Advanced Info Services and also Gulf Energy, right? And you can see that we have also broken this very key resistance somewhere over here, about like $95 to $100 was a bit of a resistance pump. We went above it in somewhere in July, August, we stayed above it, and that's where the uptrend started to form up much firmly. All right, and looking at the 20 days moving average line, you see same thing like the two other stocks. It has been pointing up, flat a little bit. Now it has started to point up as well, right? So pretty good longer term uptrend as well as the short term uptrend as well. And the next thing would be that this company, right, Delta Electronics, we have broken above a very, very key resistance level. I talked about this level right in my previous video as well, and this level would be the key resistance at 120 Thai baht. So just last, you can see 120 Thai baht, we came down, we touched, we sold back down. It's a very key resistance level for more than a year. We have been below it. We saw sellers coming back there. But what happens over the past few days? Well, finally, you can see that we have broken above the 120 Thai baht level, right? And that is a good thing because over the past few days we have broken above it, and now we are still above the 120 Thai baht. So upside targets can be revised. It's pretty much an all-time high right now. There's nothing on the left, so we can revise our targets higher. You can see that it is trading $20 to 20 Thai baht to 30 Thai baht range. You can see right over here about 20 to 30 Thai baht. So upside targets can be revised maybe all the way to 140 Thai baht first, which is $5.60. How do you get it? Well, same thing, just times 0.04, or maybe all the way to around, let me just draw another line right over here, resistance maybe all the way to like 150 could be the next resistance as well. And if that happens, 160 you times 0.04, that would be like about $6, 6.00 Singapore $6, right? That could be where we may head to before some profit taking can come back. All right, so where could be a potential entry? Well, I would say right now the uptrend looks intact if we can hold above the 120 Thai baht. So 120 Thai baht would be like $4.80 Singapore dollars. We dip a little bit, maybe to like near 4.90 or maybe near $5. I think that could be a good entry to ride it all the way up to 5.60 to $6. All right, so let's take a look at the Thai SDR, the one that's listed on the stock exchange. So this is Delta Electronics. The code is Delta, DELTA, the one listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand, right? You can see the price is 130 Thai baht. So if you look one row down, yes, this is the SDR, DELTA space TH, which means Thai space SDR, and the code for this SDR is TDED. All right, the Singapore dollar price is $5.16, right? $5.16. So let's just go back to the chart whereby we talk about this Singapore dollars price. So it's about 4.80 to maybe $5 support in terms of it dipping there, and that's where you could potentially take an entry. So right now it's about $5.16. So if you dip to near $5, right, maybe $5.05, $5, I think that could be an entry as well to ride it all the way up towards the $6, right? $6 to maybe $5.60. That is where some selling can come back again, right? You can take a position on what we call the SDR. So there we have it, guys. I've covered the top 3 Thailand stocks out of the 8, all right, in terms of the Thai SDR that are listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange. So I hope you have a better idea of what to do in these 3 Thailand stocks. That will be Gulf Energy, Advanced Info Services, and also Delta Electronics, and how you can actually take a position in what we call the Thai SDR. Right? So this is in collaboration with SGX, just to spread a bit more awareness on how you can trade or take a position in Thailand stocks just like any other normal Singapore stocks. I hope you like this video. Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.